Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Scenic Route Astrology with Makayla. Today we're talking about, sorry, just adjusting my audio. Today we're talking about the Venus star point in Libra that's happening at 29 degrees Libra today, October 22nd, 2022. So this is going to be more of a general discussion so that you can understand what the Venus star point really what it means and what it's activating in your chart. And then you can further investigate the themes and the dynamics of where they're showing up for you. Okay. So it'd be helpful if you had your astrology chart with you. You can pull it up for free off my website. You can also use astro.com under free horoscopes. Or if you are ready to get your own astrology software, which I highly recommend to start saving your charts and recording things and starting your own files, super affordable astrology software called Luna Astrology at lunaastrology.com, and you can get 10% off of your monthly or yearly subscription with my code, just the name Makayla, Makayla, when it asks for you to provide a code at checkout, or you can find the link in the show notes below. Please also don't forget to hit like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me grow. And follow me on Rumble and on ClubHouse app, okay? Being more active on those two websites, and I'm trying to do more work on those sites because that's the social media I am subscribing to lately. So, and of course, YouTube. So please subscribe if you're already here at this channel. So to give a backdrop, I have taken the Venus Star Point course actually with Ariel Gutman, and I do want to give her credit because she is one of the founding astrologers of the Venus Star Point technique, and she's devoted a lot of her life's work and her story behind how she came to do the work focused on Venus and the star point. She talks a lot about that in her courses and on various videos that you can find of her online. I think the Astrology Podcast put out an interview with her. I think they have like maybe one or two I've seen with her. And so you can go further into the Venus star point there if you're not ready to buy the course yet. I do highly recommend you buy the course though. It was very in-depth. It was 4 videos long. And I learned a lot about what this means for us. And I'm now able to offer it in my readings as well. So, and also she has this book, which is amazing. It's a huge manual, basically. And it will give you the dates of Venus star point cycles and her intake on what was going on in the world at that time, and she really synthesizes the different star points that we've had over the last few centuries and how they've layered themselves into our society and our personal lives and our culture going forward. So this won't be a video that pertains to your specific Venus star point. This will be more of a general horoscope reading on what this one is doing and activating in our personal lives. So if you have any planets in the late degrees, I would even go back to 20 degrees of Libra to 10 degrees of Scorpio. This Venus star point is happening right in the middle of that at 29-degree Libra. And it is now starting a new 100-year cycle with Venus star points that are in Libra. Now, the star point goes backwards. It goes in a retrograde motion, much like the nodes do, where it starts at 29 degrees Libra, and over the next 8 years, it will be hitting that point. So in 4 years, it will hit that as a retrograde, and then in 8 years, it will go now to 28 degrees Libra. Okay, and it moves through the specific zodiac sign over the course of about roughly 100 years, give or take some signs, because Venus kind of wobbles in her pattern. So, and the last time we had this Venus star point in Libra was all the way back to 1771. So we've had about 250 so years since Venus has graced herself, making a new pattern in the Earth sky in her home, so one of her home signs, right? Because she co-rules Taurus as well. So this is a very exciting time because between 1771 and it was 1880, we had a lot of changes, right, within the structure of how society was then. And unfortunately, we don't have anybody we can contact from those eras because they're way long past us. But now I'm really excited that we're going to get this activation again, this surge of energy that we haven't seen for 250 years. And it's going to last for the next 100 years. So it's going to affect our personal lives in very profound and beautiful ways. Okay. You might even feel the shift of the energy already in the sky where you're wanting more beauty and harmony in life or more balance in life, or maybe relationship dynamics are feeling stronger, right? Like how we're relating to ourselves as an individual and what our needs are, but then also how we're relating to the people in our lives and the types of partnerships that we really want to move forward with, right? Whether that is just like on a romantic scale or a collaborative, creative scale or a working scale. Politics, right now in the world is definitely weighing themselves out on extreme levels, and we can see, lots of extreme ideas being communicated among people on what is just and what isn't just in society, right? So these are themes that have already been kind of vibrating, and now this Venus star point is going to begin to activate that in a way where Venus is drawing her energy in now to Libra themes more, right? She's making those points of the pentagram of the star. Um, in the sky, she's amplifying it now into Libra. Okay. And 29 degrees is also a very powerful degree point. It's the finality of the sign, right? And so we're almost when Venus is moving in the retrograde period, you'll see a delay in these activities. So in 4 years from now, what begins to be planted now might experience a delay in about 4 years, but that's also the full moon picture of what's beginning to happen now for our lives. In 4 years, we'll see some kind of culmination of that, some full moon type of energy of that, and then it will slowly integrate itself into our personal lives, into society. So this is it's a major astrological event where it will create a big ripple wave, in the personal life, but we'll also have small little waves, I think, that you'll begin to see ride um, on a more daily type of level, but also it will start to play into the bigger type of energy unfolding in your life, right? The lifelong journey. So I spent a couple of days just kind of paying attention to what I was seeing around me, conversations I was having with people in my immediate, world, and just really letting the universe kind of send me whatever messages and downloads that would be helpful for this video so that we could talk about how this is unfolding. So if you have any of the planets between 20 degrees of Libra and 10 degrees Scorpio, this is going to get a nice boost of energy, especially those with Libra. Okay. It's kind of leaving your Scorpio placements in a sense. Although those layers had already begun to be unfolded in your life over the last 10 years or so, right? Or decade, I would even say. So when you begin to look at how Venus star point acts, it's a layer on top of a layer on top of a layer. All right. So it's easier to explain actually if I have somebody's like chart up to explain how this would be layered in the individual life. But if you could think of this energy as just one layer on top of another, just like every transit really is in astrology, you'll begin to see how Venus is going to twine her beauty and her benefic energy into your life. Okay, it's really a happy time, I think, for us astrologically. So um, if you have an angle at, you know, around 29 degrees, I would give yourself a 10-degree orb. But if you have a 10-degree angle within 29 degrees of Libra, this will be definitely impacting you in a very significant way. And if any planet is getting aspected by 29 degrees, that can be a sextile, that can be a square, an opposition, a quincunx. Okay. If you're using it as an quincunx, I would use maybe a 4-degree orb. If you're using this as an opposition or a conjunction or a square, I would use a 10-degree orb, or if it's within an angle, I would use that 10-degree orb as well. If it's a sextile, I would use about 4 degrees. But even if you want to give yourself, I notice 5 degrees also being pulled into energy. So or any placements in Libra going forward over the next couple of decades, you'll see that these planets start to get activated, right? Say if you're at 10 degrees Libra, just wait, because eventually the Venus star point happens. It will eventually hit that degree, okay? And Venus star points happen about every, I think it's 9.5 months. Every 9.5, 10 months, Venus makes a conjunction with the sun, either in her retrograde conjunction or in a direct conjunction. Okay, so we have Venus as an evening star now in her Venus star point because she's moving direct and she's making cazimi with the sun, which means that she's in the heart of the sun. So she's starting a new moon cycle, if you will, at 29-degree Libra. And so on a bigger scale, we want to think about what Libra represents. And Venus is super comfortable because, again, she rules Libra, she co-rules that sign. So we think about how we're going to partner with other people and other things and environments and certain types of collaborations that we want to partner with. Even how do we want to partner with our own internal sense of stability and security, and how do we want to bring that forth into our partnerships? I do believe that this is a time where we're going to be really lucky that we have this Venus star point, or blessed. I don't want to say lucky because this is all unfolding as it should for us. This Venus star point now bringing in Libra energy, where we're looking at dynamics that revolve around the court systems and revolve around our legalities, right? We are also in the middle of the United States Pluto return, where we're having to fight for our constitutional amendments that were, you know, our founding fathers gave us, and how we're bucking the current around a lot of these issues. And midterms are coming up, right? And we're fighting against Republicans and Democrats, really. And we're seeing, some Republicans shifting over to the middle side and some Democrats shifting into the middle. And it's almost really weird, like where I feel this society and the way that we're looking at how we're governing our country is also calling for a change. Are we bringing in another party that would bring in balance and bring equality and an evenness, right, to the way that our society chooses to govern ourselves? His Libra definitely wants to deal with like justice, and she wants to have equality among humanity and among people and in a relationship itself, right? It does represent the scales, but it's important to remind ourselves that some of the key words for Libra is the weighing out of things, is the weighing out of the scale and the balance. And being as a Libra rising myself, I will be able to always see two sides of the story. And that's always been like a natural talent and a natural gift that I find Libra risings or Mercury in Libra, Libra moon, Libra sun will have these talents and these gifts, right? To be able to uh, know one side, but be able to listen and hear the other side so that a sound judgment can be made eventually. where there's just balance, right? Everything is kind of equal in that sense. And so I do feel that in our personal relationships and within ourselves, we might feel this shift where we're able to listen to the needs of others more. Okay. We're leaving Venus and Scorpio energy, which is, around Venus can have a difficult time, right? With betrayal and feeling abandonment in our relationships or being betrayed by other people and not feeling the equality and the justice, right? Where somebody abuses their power, for instance. We're leaving that paradigm. Venus is now giving us a guiding light, a shining bright light into what it means to have everybody like happy and enjoying the beauty of the world. Because Venus also dabbles in with fifth harmonic. It's a fifth harmonic type of energy where we leave the logical side of the brain so much and we go into the right side of the brain where we can experience art and beauty and culture and I'm going to just say because it just came out foreign travel or foreign, that's more of a Sagittarius theme, right? But the thing is Venus is about experiencing the other side, or at least opening your eyes and having the other side reflect back to you. And, other cultures reflect something back at us, like we reflect back at them. And there is this mirroring dynamic where I feel a lot of the internal shift within people, it might start to reflect that acceptance of the self, the true acceptance of what the self is and what the self needs, and being able to mirror that self-acceptance back to other people too. So, hopefully we leave more of the old paradigm of control and judgment and you know narcissistic qualities or um just types of energy that has been more selfish in some sense, where it's leaving those dynamics and Venus is guiding us to focus in more on to shake hands, right? To do a project with somebody together, to come to a compromise, or to be able to negotiate situations or dynamics going on in our personal lives or world in a much more harmonious way. When I think of a solid Libra, I think of somebody who is able to um, communicate all of the sides necessary to make that valid point or to reach that agreement or to make the scales kind of return to its balance. Okay. But I also do see us experiencing some type of swing through the extremes as we begin to calibrate ourselves to this new energy too. So over the next couple of years, if you start to feel like this pull, this internal pull for you to want more harmony and more beauty in your life, right? If you don't want to spend your nights arguing with people, like countless stupid arguments, right? If you want to spend your time more in documentaries or more in film or going to expand the right side of your brain in music and art and culture, I suggest that you move your body and your energy towards that more, because that's going to be now calibrating yourself to what it means to be immersed in Venusian things. And another thing that I was thinking about was I feel like we might even start to see the beautification of neighborhoods or houses, even planet Earth, start to sprawl around us, because Venus does want things to be aesthetically pleasing, and in balanced in some way, not where two things have to be identical. But I'll just give you like an example. I have Venus in Aquarius where I'm a Venus rising girl, so I need things to look aesthetically pleasing in my home, like signified by the fourth house Venus, but it doesn't always mean like balance. It just means like the colors might balance themselves out, or the texture of one thing might be different than the other, but it might balance itself out. And I feel like we might begin to see these shifts of aesthetic around us, literally within nature, and then also within man-made things, right? As buildings or artwork and fashion, even. I feel like we might see this accelerate because Pluto is going to move into Aquarius next year, which will represent this unconscious desire. One of the many parts of the Pluto and Aquarius transit early next year is, one of them might be the unconscious desire to do your Venusian things now that Venus has her star point in Libra, through these very individual, unique, weirdly, beautifully aesthetic looking creations. I do see also a part of this Venus star point happening is now I feel like we will begin to see, which we're already heading into this trajectory, but begin to see how AI will also form a sense of beauty with what it means to be human. And we might even try to figure out the quality and the balance between, merging AI with human physical bodies itself, right? And then the soul as well, like playing its dynamic in there. Neptune moving into Aries and Uranus moving into Gemini. I think will accelerate the AI portion, while also Venus is really guiding us on this very long journey on what it means to bring balance, right? So that the AI doesn't overpower the human form, right? But the human form also allows the AI to maybe help us live longer or improve our quality of life or improve our psychic abilities and senses in some way. I feel like these things might really start to birth themselves really within our energy. So um there was a couple other things that I wanted to mention that I had wrote down on my over the last couple of days. So okay, yes, social movements I definitely see becoming stronger as well. Like, what does it mean for the earth to have rights? I really believe that that might be a big one, especially as we're still experiencing the nodes in Scorpio, Taurus, and Uranus is still in Taurus, really trying to innovate the way that we're relying on Mother Earth so that we can preserve and be self-sustainable in that sense, right? And that's a very big project that's going on within the world, and many people who feel called and driven to fight for climate change and earth rights and preserving our oceans and taking care of the animals, all of these areas where there's been injustice when it comes to the natural just mother nature itself, right? And natural law, very Sagittarius things. I believe that this sense of balance and harmony, that need, will begin to move strongly into social movements. Feeding the homeless, feeding and providing shelter for the homeless. Things like that. Women's rights again are an issue, right? Like we're gonna see a lot of movement towards that. And yes, Venus loves harmony and balance, but do not underestimate either the strength behind what it means to be Libra as well. It is the only zodiac that is an actual object, right? Where the other ones are part animal or part human, if you will. This is, in a sense, if you want to meditate on what the Libra symbol is, the scales, it's an object that is made of essentially usually metal or wood or some type of, really sturdy material. And it can look beautiful in its way, but it is about the balance, I think, between night and day, dark and light, yin and yang. And so there is compassion within Libra energy, but it's not in the sense of the water energy where Cancer will feel strong empathy and compassion. It's the sense of what is right and just, and it can be more logical because it is air energy. So I don't want us to underestimate the power behind a super charged Libran type of energy that is built on not only education and empathy and compassion, but also innovative ideas as well, right? And knowledge and information that's gathered from the Gemini archetype, and the objectivity and the higher vision that it can hold when it works with the Aquarius archetype. And eventually, this Venus star point will be making its trine to um, Pluto and Aquarius points, where Pluto is transiting over Aquarius, and any planet that's transiting over Gemini, to include Uranus when it moves into Gemini down the line, okay, in a couple of years. So, one of the ways that I've heard Libra be explained is the iron fist in a velvet glove. And if you've ever seen the documentary, which I'm going to draw a blank, I'm going to pull up this name so I can appropriately tell you guys, but there's a lawyer whose documentary is on Netflix, and he was Benjamin Frenence, if I'm saying this right, Benjamin Frenence. And he was the lawyer that led the Nuremberg trials, and his documentary is available online. And I highly, highly, highly encourage you, if you want to tap into this Venus and Libra energy, watch this documentary. And he has Venus in Aquarius, and so it will layer the type of energy that we're going into starting early next year. Now, Venus making her star point in Libra and Pluto moving into Aquarius, we're going to see a very much a shifting and a molding of these two energies coming together. And I think if you want to get some type of foundational understanding of what maybe a very Venus, Libra, and Aquarius combination would be, definitely watch his documentary, because he was somebody who held such compassion and empathy for his work and the mission that he was doing, but he was a force to not be reckoned with in the courtroom. And the brilliance and the strength and the ability to control himself at all times too, and to be a real diplomat in the courtroom, was amazing to watch. And his documentary and the work that he did and the way that he went all about it was very much such a moving and inspirational piece of work that somebody made, right? Because he was bringing justice to the families that had suffered, right, during World War I, World War II. And he was all about bringing equality and justice and balancing out the abuse of power, if you will, by doing the Nuremberg trials and putting many of these war criminals to prison. Okay, so a little sidetrack there, but I thought that that was really relevant. So another thing too is you might start to see is that there's a little bit of a charm and a glam that comes into the Libra section of your chart, and any planets that this will be hitting. Okay, so because Venus can be very charming, and in Libra she can be very sensual, she can be very pretty or glammed up, and maybe extra shiny rings start to be put on, or you start to bedazzle your wardrobe a little bit more. Again, it depends where it's happening for you, but there's this sense of attraction now. I believe that these Venus placements they'll get an amplification of attraction, right? This new conjunction happening here, and the energy being centered and brought into that Libra house. So my suggestion would be to go all out with that part of your chart. Bring in the glamour, bring in the beauty into that, bring in the music, right? Make sure you're inviting these fifth harmonic elements in, which is the stuff that you really can't logically process, but really it's more about of a feeling, right? Because Venus will bring us a feeling about something, a feeling of we value something, and that will start to finesse within this area of the chart. So I do think it's a really great opportunity You know, if it's in your 10th house, like if Venus rules your 10th house, then how can you bring more music and beauty and charming qualities into your work in the world, right? How can you, you know, add some more finishing touches or make it look more balanced, right? Can you incorporate the arts, if you will, into your work? Okay. And if this is in your fourth house, Venus rules your fourth, right? How can you bring more beauty and glam to decorating the home? You might all of a sudden feel like you want to, right? Or you might even feel called to just beautify your soul in an inside way and just start to purify your emotions in a way that is through sound healing and sound bowls, right? Because the fourth house can be very intimate as well. It's not just our home material world, but also has to do with our deep inner roots within us, right? And so how can you soothe and bring balance into your emotions, right? Through kind of connecting to the beautiful things that happen within nature. You know, it might even just be by painting by the water for a little while and letting your emotions kind of go through. So definitely a nice time to incorporate, you know, these qualities of life. Okay, so there might also be some tension in certain aspects now, uh, because Venus will deal with opposites, right? And it will polarize itself. So um I do believe though that anything that could feel off scale like right away as this energy shifts in will eventually find its equilibrium and its balance and its harmony. Okay. So I think that this is such a nice, beautiful transit, and I hope that you got something out of this video. So please hit like and subscribe and to help share the video. If you want to know how to find your personal Venus star point, just drop me a message in the comments below and I'll type in where you can find that out for you, like the one that you were born under. Or if you're curious about how to synthesize this one, the 29-degree Libra Venus star point, if you're curious how to synthesize that in your personal chart, just leave me a comment down below and I'll help you in the comments, or you can send me an email at Makayla@thescenicrouteastrology.com. And again, make sure to follow me on Rumble and Clubhouse. And let me know if you're feeling the shift. Let me know if you're feeling the nice soft qualities that are coming in through this transit. I definitely feel it today. My energy feels a lot more beautiful and centered than it has for a while. So I'm excited about it. So everybody, I wish you well, and I'll be back again soon. Okay, take care.